Now let's go behind the rock screen.
You're welcome to come on in. We'll bring out the moonshine, start telling lies and calling up the women. But no talk about racing. Come on.
Hey, everybody, this is Josh with the Dirt Court Jesters podcast, joined by the driver of the number 8 dirt truck from Sunbury, Ohio, and the 2025 Dirt Track Truck Series champion, Joey Heyder. Joey, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man.
So, you're the 2025 Dirt Track Truck Series champion. How did you get started into racing? What got you into racing?
I got pretty lucky in the deal. I started racing when I was 4 years old, so kind of just grew into it. Grandpa always had owned race cars, never actually drove, but he had always owned cars. And Dad did a bunch of racing. I grew up at Columbus Motor Speedway pretty much. I mean, every weekend I was there with watching Dad and helping people in the pits or doing whatever. And yeah, I started when I was 4 years old down at the hog barn at High State Fairgrounds racing quarter midgets, and did that for a couple years, pretty successful, and eventually moved up to go-karts and went around local tracks, Cardington Raceway, a couple different, one of our family friends had an actual go-kart track in his backyard, so we spent a bunch of time back there, and it's just always been in the blood.
Nice. So you started at 4 years old and you started in quarter midgets, and then where'd you move up from there?
Went to go-karts, and then I always had the drive for racing. I kind of fell out of it there for a little bit. Wasn't ever real. Dad was getting more into it then at that time, and I was always into cars. I mean, when I was going up to high school, I was doing drag racing, going to car shows, it was always something to do with cars, whether it was racing on a quarter mile drag strip or riding motorcycles around town with my buddies, or just it's always on 4 wheels or 2 wheels doing something.
Okay. And so you kind of fell out of racing there, but you said, were you helping Dad then at that time?
Yeah, Grandpa always had a shop, and Dad was still racing at Columbus Motor Speedway, and we'd go out out to his shop there and always be out there messing around, tinkering with stuff, still doing the go-karts and stuff every so often. Then it wasn't until about 2011, and I got my first truck, actually a dirt truck, and started racing at Hilltop Speedway. Did a bunch of racing there, and that was they were running V6 trucks back then, and the Dirt Track Truck Series was a different series back then, and they kind of merged and did the whole deal where we had a couple races. I raced at Eldora in 2012, did a couple just cool races that I still haven't done since then, but
Very cool. So you've turned the wrenches and you've turned the wheel.
yeah, did a lot of wrench turning. I said we work on all of our own stuff, so it helps to know.
So I'm guessing you prefer driving than compared to wrenching on the car.
Yeah, I wish I could say my maintenance was a little bit better. I mean, I've been pretty lucky here, and the only time it really had an issue is self-inflicted, getting into a wreck or something. So
Yeah. So let's talk about that, because I asked you before this if you'd send me some pictures and some videos, and you sent me one picture and it looked like you tore the ride up. What happened there?
yeah, that was at Oakshade Raceway this year. They did the Hell Tour, the Summer Nationals Hell Tour, and they had all the street stocks there. A V8, just coil car or leaf spring car.
Hmm.
they got the bombers. I think that's what they call them there. And I messaged the track and I said, hey, I got a little 4-cylinder pickup truck. Would it be all right if I came up there and had a little fun with these guys? And they said, yeah, bring it down. So I loaded up the truck and headed up to Wasion. I haven't been there before, so it was my first night there. And racing with the street stocks, it's a little different. They got obviously a little more motor than me with my 4-cylinder, but qualified decent. Went out for the heat race and got into a wreck in the heat race, and that was knocked the whole front bumper, rear bumper off, everything got towed back. A couple people ran over people I had never met before, and they're helping me putting rivets in the truck, getting everything bolted back together to go out for the B main. I got for the B main, start passing a couple cars, just having the time of my life out here at the street stocks. And then I was passing the one guy on the inside coming out of 2 and took him 3 wide actually. And the dude came down the track a little bit and I just turned straight up into the wall and ripped the front bumper off and the rear bumper off again.
Oh man.
So that was a fun night.
Fun until you had to fix it for the second time, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of talked about, um, the emergence of the dirt track truck series, and what can you say about that series? What is it that draws you to that series? What is it that you like about that series?
I love the series, man. I mean, Andy King, the promoter, he's really good dude, and he works with all of us. I mean, everybody in the series, we get 16, 18, 20 trucks a night. Uh, all these different tracks we get to go to, and you know, if I have a problem or anybody has a problem, the whole series kind of just as a collective, I'll go help someone fix his car to get it ready to go race the heat race because his fuel pump stopped working. Oh, let me go grab the spare one out of my trailer. And it's everybody's really good people in that series. Makes it a lot more fun.
Yeah, I actually met Andy for the first time. It would have been March when they had the Race Cars and Future Starters Expo there at the old Piqua Mall.
Yeah.
And Andy was there with some of his trucks, and I was talking to him and just asking him about the series, and he was explaining to me kind of what you're saying is where it's more affordable for guys, so guys can race, and everybody's there, to have a good time. Obviously, when you're racing, you're going to be competitive, right? But everybody's also there; they want to have fun, and they're going to help each other out, and it's a cool thing to see, and something really cool they're doing there with the dirt track truck series.
Yeah, I like I said, I couldn't preach it any more than I do. I mean, he does everything he can. We got our own little tech deal going on where all the tracks kind of just work with us, and we just kind of do our own little thing, and whoever wants to let us have a night or put a show on, yeah, we're there. So
Yeah. So in 2024, I believe you were second. You finished second in points with the Dirt Track Truck Series before getting 4 wins with them here in 2025 and a championship. So can you kind of run through the 2025 season with the Dirt Track Truck Series?
yeah, started out pretty strong. I think I'm trying to remember. I think the first race out I actually won, and just gave me a little confidence boost right off the start, and just let me know I had my equipment together right and I was moving in the right direction. And I get my brother, my dad, everybody helps me out. I mean, I couldn't do without everybody that helps me. But yeah, just going in, last year I missed a couple races, so I never really even had a shot at the points, and I've never really even tried my hardest for a points championship. Like even this year, that wasn't really something I was aiming for necessarily. I mean, that's pretty steep goal there. You got to be on your game every single night. You got to show up every night. You know, you can't be missing any races, especially with the competition in the truck series. And yeah, one thing just led to another, and caught a couple big breaks there at the end of the season, and things just fell in my hands more or less.
Well, I know you guys are pretty competitive because I can remember a few times I was at the track this year when the trucks were running, and there was at least one Heyder running up front. It seems like you guys got some pretty solid trucks.
Yeah, said Dad's been doing this forever. He grew up racing late models at Columbus Motor Speedway, and he's got, you know, spreadsheet of wins at a bunch of different tracks and a bunch of different classes. And we got other guys like Tony Anderson, who runs 3 classes every night, and he's got more wins than I probably will ever have in my career. But I mean, it's not for lack of competition.
Sure. Sure. And you kind of talk about it being a family affair. You touched on, your grandpa and your dad and your brother. So, what does a race night look like for your family? Because, I guess for me, I show up, and if I'm in the pits, I'm walking around, and it's like some guys drop the door and they just kind of hang out because they've got everything ready to roll. And then some guys drop the door and they're kind of messing around with stuff because maybe the weather or they've seen the track or whatever the case is, but they're not in a big hurry. They're messing around with stuff. Then you get some guys that show up and I don't think they touch the whole thing until the weekend prior. So what does a race night look for you guys?
Yeah, I don't know that we've either one of us. I know Dad for sure, but me maybe once, maybe, but we won't even pull out of the garage till everything's ready. You know, the tires are ground, fuel's checked, every nut and bolt's been checked over the car. I mean, if I'm pulling this thing out of the garage, it's ready to go. I'm not getting to the track and sitting there for 2 hours in the dirt working on it when I could have just done it here.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
that's a nice thing because it's got to be somewhat stressful, right? You're going there to have a good time. At the same time, you're competing, so there's got to be some
right.
stress associated with it. And the fact that you guys do your maintenance earlier in the week and you can get to the track and kind of just hang out until it's time to race has got to be somewhat relieving.
Yeah, I mean, no one's to say I couldn't go out there and flip it in hot laps and just wreck. I mean, or have a catastrophic engine failure or something, But
Sure.
if I'm going to do what I can and to just make sure when I get there, I'm ready. I don't have to think about all these things I got to do before I'm trying to focus in on racing.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So I noticed that after you guys were done racing for the season, you were race fanning at Eldora. What is your favorite thing about that track?
That Eldora, there's nothing like it. I've been to probably every sporting event, college football, concerts, NFL, NHL. I think Eldora, I mean, you can't have a bad time there, even as a spectator. Just the environment, everybody there is just awesome. You're just there having a good time and watching some awesome racing.
So when you're there as a fan, a couple things. Number one, what is if you're going to concession stand, what are you getting? And the other thing is if you're telling somebody that's never been there before as a fan, what advice would you have? So concession stand, what would you get? And what advice do you have somebody that had never been to Eldora before?
Obviously, the toilet water. Uh, yeah,
Oh yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of beer drinking going on, a lot just people having a good time. I mean, Eldora just it's its own beast.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I always try to tell people, I think one thing I suggest is if you're going to go and you've never been there, you need to get a pit pass. And
Yeah.
although I think you can go over into one or two, I personally like, especially if the track is running well and they're able to get low enough to the wall, that I like to go over like between 3 and 4. Like, I think getting somebody there at the track and getting them up against the fence, especially if the cars are running up against the fence,
Uh,
is just is it's awesome.
yeah, you gotta, 100% get a pit pass. I mean, if you gotta save some money for a couple weeks, just even going to Eldora, you're gonna be spending some money. I mean, there's no way around that. There's merch trailers. There's just so much to do there. The 50/50 if you're any bit of a gambler or nothing. But I mean, it's you go down in the pits, go through the little love tunnel there, and you're standing on the fence 3 inches away from a 900 horsepower car doing 100 mile an hour. It's just nothing like it.
Yeah, I I agree with you, man. That place is special. You know, all this started with the King's Royal and our group going there annually, and we camp at the track for the whole week, and it's such a good time to just, even after the races, walk around. The track stays open for quite a while, so going and walking around on the track afterwards when nobody's around is just, I don't know. I'm biased, but it's
Yeah,
special.
yeah.
So what does your off season look like?
Uh, Motors coming out and going to the engine shop to get freshened. I don't care if it's got 200 laps on it. I want to make sure my stuff's good for the start of the year. As good as it can be, at least. Like I said, if something could happen the first minute you start the thing, it could lock up, or it's just something out of the you're not planning for. But yeah, really just checking over everything. Probably put some new door panels on it at least. Maybe change the wrap design if I'm get a different wrap this year. Or just going over everything, making sure we're good.
So do you have input on the wrap design?
Uh, I don't know. I've seen some pretty awesome wraps lately. I would never thought I would say this, but Bobby Pierce with the pink car, man, that I've never seen pink look so good.
Yeah.
I think if you just pull something off, I mean that I like the Gordy Gundaker had the wrap. It was like a throwback. It was awesome. And number 11, it was like a 90s style. There's a bunch of cool stuff, man. You can do whatever you want. If you got any,
So have you started to think about a wrap for 2026?
uh, yeah, I go back and forth a lot too. So I think, I want to stay to this color scheme, or I want to do this, or the guys over at Platinum Designs do all of our wraps. Brad and Kyle
Okay.
Moore, they're good dudes. We've known them for a while. They said we started racing the Hilltop a long time ago, and they were always there. So
So does I guess I've never really had this thought, but does the design of the wrap have anything to do with if you're going to get shirts done? Does that come into your mind at all?
yeah, yeah. A lot of guys they kind of do that as a bundle. They're going to showcase their new wrap. They want to put it on their new shirts or whatever. We we haven't really ever done merch. We did a long time ago when Dad raced late models, and they just say our name, and the number. It never even had a car design on it. So that would be
Okay.
something worth looking into in the future here, but we haven't dabbled in that much yet.
Well, you seem to like late models, and I thought I saw a post that your truck was for sale. Am I reading between the lines here?
Everything's for sale. No, I'm always just back and forth. I love the trucks. Like I said, it's awesome. It's
Sure.
pretty easy. You know, it's night and day difference to a late model. Everything
Hmm.
is half the price. You don't have a million adjustments you got to do. You don't have to know all these things. You know, I got a buddy that lives down the road, and he's been learning the steel block late model, and been helping him with that. And just, I mean, it's just night and day difference of how much attention and effort you got to put into once you start moving up classes.
Yeah. Yeah. So for now, 2026 looks like you're going to try to defend your dirt track truck series title. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, if anything, I'll for sure at least be out there. But yeah, that's a good assumption.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, do you have a bucket list track as a fan and as a driver?
Hmm. So I raced to Eldora once. That was awesome. You know, that was, uh, I'd say as a fan, I have not yet been to, but I'm hopefully going to go this year. If not, I'm definitely will in the future. But the Gateway Dirt Nationals at the Dome in St. Louis, the
Okay.
indoor little 5th mile dirt track they do every year.
Yeah.
I've, yeah,
Yeah.
that would, as a fan at least. I mean, it would be awesome to do that as a driver, but we'll
Sure.
have to figure something out there one day.
Okay. All right. All right. Very cool. Very cool. It seems like that am I right in that they sold tickets out already for that on Saturday
Yeah,
night, or they don't do like single day tickets now. They do like 2 or 3 day tickets that you have to get. Is that
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So
And think they've I think they opened up some more seats, and it seems like it's doing pretty well for them.
I seen the drivers list this year, and they have a ton of drivers. I mean, you wouldn't even expect them guys to go. They're running their $100,000 cars just to go beat them up almost at that racetrack. But
Yeah,
it's
they're
what the
gonna get beat
fans
up at
want.
that track. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
Oh well, so the bucket list as a fan and as a driver is the Gateway Dirt Nationals.
As a fan, for sure. As a driver, there's probably quite a few. I mean, any little
Okay,
bull ring track is. I love the little bull rings, you know, like
okay,
Lima and Waynesfield, where we race most of our races. Just a little small track, just hammered down the whole time, pretty much.
yeah. Is there a race that this past season was there a race uh track that you're looking forward to again next year? I know, like you said, you guys get to Lima and Waynesfield a lot, and I know Rich Farmer took over Waynesfield there, and it sounds like they're going to have at least a handful of races in 2026. So, besides Lima and Waynesfield, was there any tracks that you ran out here in 25 that you're looking forward to in 26? Do you know what the schedule kind of looks like yet?
We have our banquet actually coming up Saturday this week, so we'll hear more about scheduling and everything then. But
Okay.
we ran at Atomic this year for the first time ever, and that was that was awesome. I had a little bit of the wrong gearing in my rear end, and with these things, it's a little harder. I don't just have a quick change, you know. It's not
Mhm.
really something you're gonna do between a heat race and a feature, but yeah, it'd be fun to go back there. That was different.
Okay. Well, before we wrap this up, I've got some lightning round questions for you, Joey. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. First question: celebrity crush when you were growing up.
And, uh, Selena Gomez.
Okay. I've heard that before, so that's a popular answer. Uh, do, Did you have a favorite cartoon?
Probably South Park or some old comedy.
Okay, okay. Favorite pro wrestler?
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Nice, nice. Do you have a favorite song or a favorite group?
Oh, I change up a lot, but growing up it was probably Lil Wayne.
Okay, all right. What about a favorite movie?
Um, Grandma's Boy.
Okay. So I know this question doesn't always work out for race car drivers, but I'm going to ask it anyways. Do you have a favorite vacation spot?
Probably Hilton Head, honestly. I've only been there once, but that
Okay.
was awesome.
Nice. Nice. Very nice. Something very few people would know about you.
Uh, Put me on the spot like that.
I've had different answers from uh, guys were in like choir in high school. Um, maybe another sport that you were played when you were younger, things like that.
Yeah. Uh, I dressed up as Beauty for trick or treat Halloween a couple years ago, and my buddy was the Beast.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a good one.
All right, that's cool. I like that. I like it. If you could own one car, so I'm talking like daily driver, you pull in the driveway, you hit the garage door opener. What is the car that's parked in the garage?
Mark IV Supra.
A certain color?
Uh, like an Oxford White, probably.
Okay. All right. Very nice. Very nice. Do you have a go to meal?
Meal,
Yeah.
Sloppy Joe's. That's been a nickname my parents gave me forever.
Okay. Do you put cheese on the sloppy Joe?
No,
All right. Okay.
no
Nice,
cheese.
nice. Do you make your sloppy joes from scratch?
I don't make Sloppy Joe's. I just eat them.
All right, last question in the lightning round is funniest story you can share from either the track, the shop, or on the way to one or the other.
The funniest. And we were driving to, I want to say it was Hilltop. It had been years ago before Grandpa passed, but he was driving the dually, pulling the trailer, and his old dually never had a speedometer in it. And he'd driven it forever, and he just would know. I had downloaded an app on my phone, and I had a couple of my buddies with me, and this was when I was driving. He was pulling the race car, and we'd just be driving down the road, and I'd ask him, hey, Grandpa, how fast are we going? He'd say, oh, we're going 61. I'd look down at my phone, it'd say 61 mile an hour, and his speedo was just at zero the whole time. He just he just knew how fast he was going, and that was pretty special.
That's cool. That's a good memory to have, man. All right. Before we finally wrap this completely up, where can people follow you at on social media? And do you have any merchandise available or are you looking into any merchandise in the future?
Yeah, for sure. We'll be looking into some merch hopefully this coming year, and just on Facebook, Joey Heyder. I don't do much social media, but you can find me on there.
All right. Joey Hyder, you got sponsors that you'd like to thank?
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg Chevrolet helps out a bunch. I'm driving a Ford. Don't tell them that. Daniluk Machine Tool Rebuilding out of Oklahoma City. James Madison Insurance, the Gun Room of Sunbury, Reikley Brothers Landscaping, then just, mom, dad, my brother, all the family that helps and gets to come out and watch and get in the racing with us.
Very cool. Very cool. Before I let you go, I got to ask, are you wearing a hoodie of your favorite late model driver?
Turbo Tyler Erb.
All right. Joey Heyder, driver of the number 8 dirt truck from Sunbury, Ohio, and your 2025 Dirt Track Truck Series champion. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Guys, this is Josh with the Dirt Court Jesters podcast, and we hope to see you at the track.
Goodbye, mwah, and good night, bang.
Thanks for listening to the Dirt Court Jesters podcast. As always, this is Josh, and you can follow us on X, on Facebook, and on YouTube at Dirt Court Jester. And we hope to see you guys at the track.